This video is based on an article I wrote on my blog. Link to the article is in the description. Speaking in tongues daily is your responsibility. Hello wise man, I have a problem I need you to help me with. This is how the requests usually begin. Tell me, I reply. I know you pray in tongues daily. I have desired to be consistent like you, but I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Please help me. More than once, someone has asked for my help when it comes to praying in tongues daily. And despite dishing out top-notch wisdom, their problem was never solved. It left me scratching my head, but not for long. Is it that the advice I give is impractical, or is it that I use too many words in describing the solution that they don't get it? I questioned myself. But not long afterwards, I made a conclusion. It was just plain old laziness. I'm writing this article so that next time someone asks me the same question, I will remain silent, and if they insist that I answer them, I'll send them the link to this article. There's no magic button to speaking in tongues daily. I've manufactured magic buttons and given people so that they will press and start speaking in tongues daily, but they never worked. I desired so much to be of help, but somehow I couldn't get people to start speaking in tongues daily. Eventually, I gave up manufacturing magic buttons for speaking in tongues daily. I resorted to the old way of grinding your way to success. Speaking in tongues daily is hard. Anyone who says it's easy is only saying so because he's full of the Spirit and can't feel the struggle. I speak in tongues daily and I find it easy, but I will be lying if I said it is easy. I know how much work it has taken for me to get to this point. At first, I thought I could leverage my success to magically pull people into my level, but it proved to be impossible. I shared tips and tricks that helped me when I was in the grinding phase, but they didn't work. After doing all I could, there was only one conclusion left. There's no magic button to speaking in tongues daily, no matter who you are. Go to the moon and come back, and you'll still find that there's no magic button for speaking in tongues daily. I've seen people shed tears and roll on the floor while speaking in tongues, begging God to help them be consistent in speaking in tongues daily. But when they woke up from the dust, they went back home and continued struggling to speak in tongues daily. Some have fasted for days, but after their fast, slowly but surely, they reverted back to their inconsistent way of speaking in tongues. Of course, I was terrified when I saw these kind of things. It made me wonder if speaking in tongues daily was possible at all. Little did I know that God was proving to me that no amount of whining can make someone consistent in speaking in tongues daily. Some are experts at searching for tips and tricks, but God proved to me that no amount of tips and tricks is enough to make you speak in tongues daily. Speaking in tongues daily takes responsibility. Now that everything I could do or think of doing was out of the picture, I wondered how I was going to help people who wanted to be consistent in speaking in tongues daily. I looked at my own journey and the answer was staring right at me. Take responsibility. When I was still new to speaking in tongues, I heard many times that every believer should strive to speak in tongues daily. To be precise, they said speak in tongues daily for at least an hour. At that time, even speaking in tongues for an hour would be considered an achievement, leave alone doing it daily. Either way, I committed myself to do what seemed impossible. I reminded myself over and over that I needed to speak in tongues for as long as I could. I came up with tips and tricks to help me in the struggle, and some proved to be helpful. But every so often, what had worked previously no longer worked, and I needed to change. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, but it felt as if I was not making any progress towards speaking in tongues daily. I would manage to be consistent for 3 days, and then skip 2, and then be consistent for another 4, etc. Some days I would get occupied by daily activities that I would have no time for speaking in tongues. Other days I would be in a bad mood, and I couldn't shake it off to speak in tongues. The constant inconsistency was a brutal reminder of how hard speaking in tongues daily was. But through it all, I never gave up. I said it was better for me to die trying than to die not having tried. I adjusted my mindset to accept the fact that achieving speaking in tongues daily was hard but not impossible. There's a tipping point for speaking in tongues daily. After an eternity of struggling, you will eventually get to the tipping point. Your duty is to make sure you are constantly adding something each day that draws you closer to speaking in tongues daily. One day, you will realize in amazement that you have spoken in tongues consistently for the past 7 days. Then it will be 14 days, then 30 days. Before you know it, you won't remember the last time a day passed without speaking in tongues. It may be hard to imagine that level of consistency now, but trust me, it comes sooner than you imagine. And to add icing to the cake, the joy of speaking in tongues daily will wipe away every sorrow of the many months you spent dreaming of the day you will be consistent with speaking in tongues daily. At that time, you will understand why people praise speaking in tongues so much. You will have no question about God's voice when you are speaking in tongues. Speaking in tongues will become the sweetest activity you have ever known. Instead of praying in tongues for breakthroughs, you will be praying in tongues just because you enjoy it. Your life will become peaceful, and it will feel as if you live in a different world. People will ask you why you are always calm and composed, and why your face is always shining. The more people will wonder about the transformation in your life, the more you will appreciate why speaking in tongues daily was worth the struggle. Therefore, have faith that no matter how long it takes, when you eventually become consistent at speaking in tongues daily, you will know why it was worth the struggle. The reward of speaking in tongues daily is limitless. Keep growing. Until next time, peace.